Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to Highland Cycles and our weekly Shlog or shop vlog here in Montrose, Colorado. If you're new here, if you joined us because you watched the Baja 1000 videos or the big crash video or any of that stuff, consider sticking with us because our channel does all kinds of cool stuff like racing the Baja 1000 to racing local stuff to lots and lots of mechanical stuff, showing you how to rebuild 300 motors, how to do suspension, all kinds of cool stuff. So this is our little weekly vlog where we just show you all the things that are going down in the shop. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. Here we go. All right, first job of the week is revalving. This is some suspension. This is off of a 24-300XC with the twin chamber cartridge forks. I'm already done valving those. Sorry I didn't show you. I've shown you the inside of those things before, so nothing crazy. Those are really good forks, guys. Honestly, KTM has finally done something that is going to make the aftermarket mad because there's way less need to buy things to put inside of forks than there was back when they had the Explorer or the AAR or even worst case, the 4CS. So anyway, sorry about that, but I do have the shock here. I'm gonna show you a couple things we're gonna do. One is we are replacing this piston style reservoir with a nitrogen style reservoir. This is from CSR. I like those a lot. The other thing, I gotta go grab, 1 second. All right, guys, these shocks come with this two-piece plastic retainer for the spring. So it goes like that to hold it on the shock shaft, whatever. It works okay. Really, I have not seen any problems, but I've heard of some people breaking them. So SDI came up with the sweet aluminum ones. Nice, simple, clean, one piece, it's all good. Now, I personally think that what is happening, and I can't prove this because, like I said, I haven't seen these bikes in here yet with a broken one, but my thought is that people are loosening their spring too much and causing it to not have enough preload on it. So when you load it, unload it, it's actually really loading this plastic and causing it to break. It's also, I don't know, it's dumb. It's like the plastic adjuster ring right there. I really wish that was still metal because they're easy to mess up. I mean, it's fine. It does seem to work okay, I guess. I guess it saves a little bit of weight. That's fine, whatever. But the retainer seems like a little bit less of a good deal. So anyway, we're replacing that, putting a new a bladder kit on it, and then revalving it. I think I've showed you these shocks before, so I'm not going to go in depth unless I find something real special. Otherwise, we'll get on to the next job. Hey guys, real fast, let me just jump in here and remind you to please use the Rocky Mountain ATV link in the description below to buy anything you need from Rocky Mountain. It really helps us out, and it doesn't cost you any more money than normal. And Rocky Mountain ATV, honestly, is one rad company. I'm learning more and more how awesome they are. So again, please check that link out. Use that if you can. It makes a big difference, and I appreciate it. All right, guys, next on the lift is this YZ125. Customer complaint was that it was both running lean, sounding. I think this guy actually knows what he's talking about. He's a racer, dad's fast, whatever. So it was running lean, feeling, kind of all of a sudden, no changes to the jetting, and also smoking like crazy and fouling plugs. So that is a problem. We have determined, and I guess you guys probably already know if you know much about two-strokes, we got some leaky crank seals. So we're going to also check crank bearings and all that good stuff, but we are going to replace all this. We got OEM Yamaha seals and a gasket for the other side. Let's take this thing apart and see what we find. All right, Yamaha, if anyone from Yamaha ever watches this, two things. First of all, put an electric start on the 250s, please. Don't do it on the 125, you don't need that. Also, these Phillips head, really? Come on, we don't need Phillips head, but if you, just so you know, if you have a YZ and you need to take these bolts off, highly recommend an impact, hand-hammered impact. This one is a, I don't know, this is a snap-on, which is pretty cool. Definitely one of those tools you don't really need to spend snap-on money on. They sell these on Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Link below in the description. Buy one from them. You won't use it, you know, all the time, but when you do use it, you'll be really, really happy. It just makes life so much easier. And you can use it on anything. Like, you know, obviously that's just a socket, so you can put any kind of socket on there and have a hand impact. So the problem with using a gun impact on some things is it's like too fast and it'll like actually strip things out. It works great on big nuts and bolts and things like that, but oh boy, I'm panicking. I'm panicking! I panicked. It works great on things like that, but Phillips heads, little things like that, it's better just to have a hand and whack it and it'll usually break them loose. Another super important tool to own if you got a two-stroke or any bike, if you're going to do real motor work, is a flywheel puller. This is a Motion Pro, and yeah, it's nice. It's an M27x1 left-hand thread to fit almost every two-stroke on Earth. Some of the new KTMs are not like that, but all the YZs, all the older KTMs, so many bikes. Again, also available Rocky Mountain ATV. If you can't get one, you can either buy the Motion Pro through Rocky Mountain, or you can, you know, buy, I think Tusk makes one. It's cheaper. It's not a really important tool to have the super high-end version of, because I've never seen one be bad. Yeah. Another use of the impact is the Phillips heads in here. Again, Yamaha. Don't know why you guys use Phillips heads on this stuff. Let me show you something, guys, here. So you can kind of, I don't know, hopefully we'll be able to see this. There you go. You can see some wetness right there. That is from it pushing some fuel and oil out, but if it's doing that, that means it's also sucking air in, and that's what can cause the lean situation. So now we need to get this out without damaging anything. That is sometimes a problem. These ones are usually pretty easy. We're going to grab a small drill bit and we're going to drill a nice little hole in the seal so that we can drive a seal puller in there and pop it out. Now you got to be really careful when you're doing this, guys, because there's a bearing behind there you don't want to damage. Like, it would be a really bad situation to damage it. It's also a pretty robust bearing, so you're not going to probably have a problem with it. But if you're going to do what I'm doing with the drill bit, just go super lightweight pressure so you can feel when it goes through and you don't get snapped into it. Now, it's a rubber seal with a little bit of metal in there. So you got to be really careful, like I said, because it sometimes will want to grab and suck it in. So you got to be really steady on the drill. So I use a relatively large drill bit because it's a big seal. It's a really wide seal, and that way it will allow me to get my seal puller in there easily. And I'll show you. This is the one I'm going to use. It's kind of sharp, which I like, and really narrow this way. So kind of figure out where I'm going to go in here. Okay, before you go through it, to dip that in some grease so it's going to catch any chips. And this seal puller is pretty cool because you can take this out and, hang on, change the angle of it to help get in there a little easier. All right, got that out without any kind of damage at all. You can see this whole thing is nice and shiny and perfect. No mess ups. It's nice when you got a big fat seal like that, you can just rock up against the seal and not against the cases. So this is good. Now we're gonna try to move this thing up and down, and it doesn't move at all. So that's good. It means we don't have a problem with that. The seal did seem like it was maybe seated a little bit far in and this is just OEM. No one's touched this motor that I know of. I don't think so. It's a pretty new bike. I think it's just all OEM, so it looks good. Now, I like to, when I'm doing this, take a little bit of this Z-Max lube, spray it in here, because that's not going to hurt anything in there. It's going to burn it just fine, but that gets this a little bit kind of greased up on there. So then we can then grab our new OEM Yamaha seal. Make sure this is really clean, guys. Blow it out with some air. Figure out what deep well socket fits over that, and that's about perfect. Also, it's just a little bit bigger than the seal, so it'll stop when it hits the case and won't push it past the case. I like to use a small hammer for this because big hammers are nice. It makes it go faster. It's easier to smack it, but it can also go too fast too quickly. So a little bit smaller hammer, dead blow, and just kind of ease that into place. Make sure you get everything clean. And I like to reinstall with the impact so we can give it a good clack smack to really make sure they're nice and tight. Also, let me show you something real fast, guys, something to pay attention to. See, focus, there we go. See that line? We want that line to line up with the line on the case. It's not quite there, so I'm gonna just loosen these just a tiny bit and move that. And that's your timing mark, because if this is out, you can advance or retard the timing, but you don't want to do that. You want to leave it where Yamaha wants it. Reinstall our flywheel, being super careful to make sure we line up the Woodruff key with the groove. I've actually seen quite a few people not do that, and they get it on there because you can actually get this on there misaligned just far enough to where the nut will still go on there and tighten it down. And if you get way off, it won't run. But if you get just a little off, you can actually make these things run backwards, which is no good. Or you can mess up the Woodruff key and cause problems down the road. So just make sure you get that lined up. Make sure it goes all the way on, and you can, with your hands, turn it and it turns the crank. All right, going back on. I'm reusing this gasket because it's a rubber coated metal gasket and it's fine to reuse as long as it doesn't tear. So we're saving the guy a little bit of money with that. All right, guys, we got everything off. To do this job, I didn't show you guys this because I figured it out, but you got to drain the coolant and drain the oil. Otherwise, well, it's coming out one way or the other. If you take this clutch cover off, that is all coming out, no matter what you do. But I like to drain it into a pan if you can. So this is the seal we're trying to get to back here. So the clutch needs to come off, then the gear on the crank needs to come off. So we'll pop this clutch off, take that out. There's no real way to check this because it's all wet with oil anyway, so there's no way to like see some sort of telltale sign or anything like that. But we're just going to replace it because, like I said, it was burning some oil. All right, guys, nut on the clutch hub has a bend up lock washer on it. So we're going to knock that down with we got a flat blade screwdriver and a hammer. We're going to unbend the one that is bent up. There we go. Now, I don't know if you guys can see that just fell out, that ball. We've got to make sure we don't lose that. If you don't put this back in, the clutch will not disengage. And trust me, lots of people have had that problem where it falls into the pan of oil or something like that. So make sure you don't lose that. Put it in the clutch cover for now. Now we're going to grab a impact, and I believe that's a 27. All right, guys, I've shown this numerous times on here, but it always bears repeating. If you don't have a clutch holder tool, which lots of people don't, and that's fine, do not put a screwdriver or something in here against these posts. Don't do that because you'll break something, and you don't have to go buy the thing. If you've got an impact gun, all you have to do, get the right size on there, and then squeeze the clutch back together, tying the basket to the hub. Lefty loosey, comes right off. I'll just take the whole thing, set it down there. Now we got to get this guy off. On a 125, that is a 12 mil. And on Yamahas, that is a normal thread. It is a right-hand normal thread. A lot of bikes, I think it has to do with whether it's outside or inside. Anyway, like KTMs and things like that, it's a nut usually that goes on there, and it's a left-hand thread. But on this one, it's not normal. Gotta be careful, make sure you keep everything together. You can use a zip tie if you want. Since we're going right back together, I'm just put it together with that and set it down. We got this keeper here, we gotta pull that off. Just a 10. All right, I'm gonna pull this one out the same way. You're gonna get a drill bit, poke a little hole in there, be really careful, and pop it out. In program, tap that point down in there. There we go. Because we kept everything super small and was really careful, there's no chips inside there. There's a little bit of rubber kind of tucked in there, so I'm gonna blow that out with air gun. Everything looks good. Now we're gonna test this one. No movement, that's good. All right, same setup. Gonna get ourselves a big long socket, drive this in, keep it nice and level and not twisted at all going in. We'll reinstall everything. Put a little bit of grease on this too before I put it in. The other side, you don't need to do that. It's a tapered shaft and it all just kind of goes on nice and easy. This one, it's not as easy to make sure you don't get the lip folded up. And guys, when I'm putting these inner parts like on, especially this retainer, I'm making sure I put some thread locker. I like the stuck nut stuff. Try not to use Loctite because of the whole Hinkle family trying to shut down motorized trails, even though, yes, the guy that's trying to do that, Enrico, has nothing to do with Loctite or any of that. I don't care. I don't like the guy. I think he's a jerk. He is at least related to the people that own Loctite, so we are using stuck nuts. And anything, any kind of thread locker, guys, everything has to be dry and clean. Like, you cannot do it with oil on it. It won't work. Guys, on the Yamaha lock washers, it's cool because they've got two things to bend up so you can use it twice. This one we had to bend back down, but this one's never been up. So you can put it back on, bend it. The next time, if we ever have to take this clutch off of here again, we're gonna need a new one of these. And I don't bother with thread locker on this because of that lock washer. Same thing going back on, I just rattle it on. You don't need to go crazy because you have a lock washer. Put our ball back in. And on these, I'm running them in with the gun, but I'm not really tightening them down. It goes click, you know, one time. But this thing only, I don't know what the full, like if I held it down, what it would be, but probably not more than about 10 foot-pounds if I really rattled on it. And these things are 7 foot-pounds is what you're looking for. I think it's 10 Newton meters. So we'll run them down really quickly with this and then come back later and torque them. So I think we're good now. We got a new one of these gaskets because this one could leak oil. This is actually probably reusable, honestly, because it's metal with rubber coating, but I got a brand new one because I don't want to have to do this again because of oil leak. All right, guys, we got her fired up. Choke's still on. Coming up. Oh, sweet. Right on. Peace out. All right. That sounds good. We're going to open up some doors and stuff here, get the smoke out of here, start not breathing too much exhaust, and check it out. But that already sounds way better than it did. Really happy about that. New crank seals, not really too big a deal. It happens. This is a relatively new bike, but you know, if you got it hot at one point, that can cause those seals to leak and fail, or sometimes they just fail if you got a lot of hours on it. I don't know how many hours are on the bike. There's no hour meter or anything like that, but right on, there we go. Seems like it's running good. We'll test it a little bit more, make sure it's good, and then we'll let the customer know. We'll get on to the next job. All right, guys, next on the lift is this KX450. It is smoking a lot, and I think mainly just smoking a lot. So we are going to put a top end in it. I talked to this customer. I told him there's lots of things that could be wrong. We might need valves, might need this, might need that, and he's adamant about not needing all those things. So hopefully he's right for his sake, and we can just put a piston and rings in it. He says it's got super low hours, which might be the case. I mean, it's relatively clean looking, pretty straight. You can see there's not a lot of wear on the frame. Clutch cover looks okay, so it might be low hours. It's really hard to tell. I believe it's a 14 or 15, something like that, so it's kind of an older bike. Yeah, let's take this thing apart and see how it is. Hopefully it's all good. All right, guys, we're getting this thing apart, and I think I've already figured out why it's smoking. There's definitely not enough oil on that. There is oil. It's not totally dry. Let's take it out and see if we got any dirt. Oh, yeah. You can see the discoloration right there. That's dirt. So I think he's going to be extremely lucky if that cylinder isn't ruined and doesn't need to be replated. He swears that it won't, but we're going to find out here pretty soon. So stick with us here. All right, guys, we got the motor apart. We can see there lots of oil buildup up there. Cylinder actually looks really, really good. It's just glazed over. I think this is what the problem was. It's super glazed. I don't know why, but I'm guessing it just glazed up the Nicosil. So we're going to run a hone through that, put a crosshatch back in it. And then we're looking over here. We've got the head. Actually looks really good. Valves look good. I mean, it's covered in oil. It's oil soaked and stuff, but it looks great. So I think we're going to be good. We're going to go ahead and replace the valve seals because that's part of what we do on a top end no matter what. Cams look really good and they're not all torn up. So I think he's right. I think he got lucky. Bike seems like it's going to be okay with just the top end. So super happy about that. Get him rolling today, hopefully. I got to get after it. I'll bring you guys in if I see anything super interesting to show you again. But other than that, I just got to put my head down and get this bike back to this customer. So, all right, guys, got the top end all back together. We still don't know if it runs or smokes because I forgot that the other thing we got to replace is this Kickstart shaft. The bolt broke off in there. Then someone tried to remedy that with a easy out or a tap or something. They broke that off in there. We did a pretty good job. I actually got the thing to turn just a little bit, but there's no way. So I was wasting way too much time. So we got a new part. Got to take the clutch off for that. No big deal. It's actually kind of nice. Kawasaki sells just the shaft, not all the gears and stuff. So it's actually not horribly expensive. So I'm going to get that done here real fast, put this back together, and I'll bring you guys in to start this thing up. All right, guys, sorry that I didn't take you into starting the KX. It starts, runs, no smoke. It's all good. I didn't bring you guys in because the gentleman who owns it showed up to get it, and I was kind of in a hurry to get everything good. But it is now 6:40 at night, and we are here with Colt, and which is one of Thomas's buddies, putting his YZ250 back together. One of the last races of the season, before he raced, he took he was draining the oil, and a little like bearing cage came out. Went ahead and raced.
I found something and I didn't like it, man.
Yeah. He went ahead and raced and actually didn't cause any problems, which is good, amazingly enough. But we were obviously worried. So we split the cases, took a look. Honestly, couldn't really find anything. We found some chewed up stuff on the back side of the clutch actuator, where this bearing here that goes through the main shaft. So we did find that, some chewed up cases. So I don't know what happened. Anyway, we replaced all the bearings, put it back together. Colt's putting it back together. Thomas is just mainly hanging out.
Woo. Thomas is being Thomas.
Doing a good job of that. He actually went and got me a burger, so he's earned his keep today. He gets to stay around at least one more day. And we got to look at the carburetor, figure out what's going on with that because it's kind of sputtering on the top end. So probably too big of a jet. We just need to lean that out a little bit, I'm guessing. And then we're going to have them back rolling. So that's super cool. And we will let you know if we find anything else with the whole bearing thing. It was kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know. It was a weird one, but it's back together. Who knows? This was Thomas's bike, and before that it was someone else's bike. So who knows what happened? Maybe that little piece of bearing was floating around in there the whole time. I don't know. Yeah, so we're going to keep on rolling here, and we'll bring you back in if we find anything else interesting. All right, we got her back together. Colt is going to see if it fires up. We're going to take a bet on how many kicks it takes. Thomas, how many kicks? 2 kicks? Mm-hmm. Colt, how many kicks?
4 to 5.
No, you got to choose one. You can't say 4. I'm going 6 because I think that's what it was last time.
No, it was 4.
Okay, well, I'm going 6 or none.
Gas
on. What do you mean gas on or? Okay, everybody comment below if you think the gas needs to be on to run or off to run. Comment below. So could choke on?
Choke's on.
Choke's on. Here we go. There's 1. There's 2.
I'm out.
No, you shouldn't have to give it any throttle. There's 3.
There goes me.
4. He's
kicking.
Hey, 5.
Yeah.
So I win. I went 6. You said 4, right?
Yeah, I said
so
4.
I win because we were the same distance away, but I didn't go. It didn't go over mine, so I'll take it. Right on. All right, guys. So the next job on my lift is my KTM 300 XC 2023, named Loretta. And I'm not going to show you guys on the Shlog all the detailed stuff, but if you haven't yet followed along or subscribed, make sure you do. We got we have a playlist. This bike has its own playlist, the 23 300 XC, but we also have a new 23 300 XC winter maintenance playlist. I think that's it. Anyway, check it all out, guys, because we are disassembling this thing, going way down deep. Going to do lots of work to it, get it all ready for next year, so we can just ride confidently into the new year. So I've already got all the plastics off it. I've washed it. It needs more cleaning because it's just a dirty bike. It's got 165 hours on it. We'll do that as we take it further apart. The first thing we're going to do, the first video, in-depth video I'm getting ready to shoot right now, is on greasing the swing arm linkage and all that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe and all that good stuff. The other thing I did was I installed the Tusk lithium battery, the really nice high-end Lithium Pro. The thing is really cool. I like, it's got 2 different ways to mount stuff. So I got the ground strap here, but then I've got the, this is for the light harness. I don't know. Anyway, it's nice because it's got 2 different ways to mount things, so you can actually move things around and get things right where you need them. It's really actually pretty freaking sweet. So that is on there. We're going to be checking that to see if it's as good as the anti-gravity 8G801 that I used for a full year with 0 issues. That battery was phenomenal. I will say quickly, I do not like the anti-gravity restart batteries. Excuse me. I have had nothing but problems with those. I love the company Anti-Gravity, but those ones seem to be real problems. Maybe comment below if you've had good luck or if you've had bad luck, but I've had nothing but bad luck with the restarts. And I would say I've honestly had nothing but good luck with the AG801s one, the little bitty ones. So kind of a weird deal. All right, guys, that's the end of the week, the end of the Shlog. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys liked that. If you're new here, if you just joined us because you watched some of the Baja videos or some other instructional video, make sure you consider subscribing because this is a pretty awesome dirt bike channel, and I feel like we do a really good job, and I feel like we provide a lot of benefit to you guys. If you think that I do, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, hit the little notification bell so you know that when we upload a new video, and tell your friends, share this thing out around with all your friends, because I really want to grow this thing into a giant channel to do some really, really cool stuff. I love you guys. I hope what we're doing here is inspiring you guys to work on, but more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!